Okay, so this is the sidewall stitcher that I've got. So out of the box, it's not going to come with much. It'll give you the handle, the machine obviously. It'll come with a bag of like a few extra bobbins, extra shuttle, the post that the shuttle goes into. It's not going to come with any thread or a stand, so the thread I use 210 bonded nylon, and then what I've done is just really simple screwed it into the edge of my I got like a little plywood table set up here. When you're setting it up, you want to leave enough room on the edge here so that you can fit the whole shoe over without hitting the table. I think if I were to do it again, I'd probably screw it into 2x4 or something like that and then bolt it into a table. But anyway, so I'll show you how I have it threaded. So I got the spool just kind of sitting on the table going up through. I put this bracket here. Ideally you'd want to have the spool sitting on like a platform right here. There's a mount for like there's a screw hole here to mount a platform or something that you would want on it. Then I've got it going through that hole there. They've got two tension discs. I only use one just because two kind of adds more variables. That's already pretty tough to figure out what the tension should be, so I just go through one and it's working fine for me. Go up and around this duck shaped part, and then through this hole here. And then if any of you guys have like the Chinese patcher, you'll be pretty familiar with this. You gotta put it down through this hole where it will come out down by the needle, and you'll get a few extra needles in the bag as well. I'd recommend getting something like this to help you push the string down in when you're threading it. Then the bobbin is in here. That's pretty simple. One thing I'd recommend doing when you're setting this up is have some, I've got 3-in-1 oil on hand for my machines. Have that ready, and then get some really fine sandpaper. I think I use like 2000 grit or something like that. Just really super fine, and sand down any of the places that the thread comes in contact with, just because you don't want sort of hard edges fraying your thread or anything like that. And then to get the timing down, that's kind of the biggest thing when you're setting this up. You've got to get the timing down yourself, and they don't give you any instructions on how to do so. So I've taken off the bobbin cover to kind of help better visualize what's going on here. First thing you're going to want to do is get the handle set up, and let's see. There are two pegs that you gotta kind of line up with this arm here, and then there's another, this piece, I don't know what to call it, but you're gonna want to get that on, and then you can adjust this post here. You can take this in and out and move it on to the gear that it's sitting on down here. You can kind of move that as you need. So I just did around the toe. That's the hardest part of the shoe for sure. So you can see I kind of fucked up in places around here. That's mostly just because I'm still pretty new to the machine. So once you've got it kind of figured out, it goes by super quick. But yeah, you kind of got to adjust the direction that you're sewing in kind of as you work around the shoe, just the way that it sits on the arm here. So that's probably the hardest part, that's kind of the learning curve, is sort of figuring out how to position the shoe for each stitch. But it's something that you can kind of easily control because, I mean, you're doing it by hand, so you can sort of stop at each stitch and sort of work out the direction you want to put the shoe in. And this one's kind of got a, well, I guess not that much of a low profile toe, but this was on a running shoe last rather than like a Air Jordan last, so I don't know if that accounts for anything, but I think it's worth mentioning, I guess. So yeah, pretty much once you get the tension right, and you'll be able to tell pretty easily just the way that the stitches are sitting, if the tension is correct or not. But yeah, once you get that down and you can build up a quick test shoe with some cheap soles you got lying around, because you can take the stitching out too and retry and do it over and over again, which is what I did with this shoe actually. So yeah, just a little bit of a learning curve, but once you get it down, it's definitely faster than stitching by hand. So I mean, for 200 bucks or whatever, I think it's it's worth it once you've, you know, committed yourself to the craft of shoemaking. So, yep.